Good morning and welcome to Plant-Based Cooking with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Tawana Wright, and today's episode is with Chef Kimberly McNair Brock. Folks, we want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. In addition to our cooking show, we also have other virtual content. You can find that at the AARP Alabama events page. And if you're in the Huntsville or Birmingham area, we're going to be doing a game night, family game night called Reach Out and Play. Hope you can connect with us on that. All right, Chef Kim, what are we doing today?
So today we have raw pasta and marinara sauce.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Folks, I know that you came here to see Chef McNair, so I'm going to get out of the way.
All right. So we are going to start with our mushrooms. For those of you that have not seen us do it before, I'm going to demo that for you. And basically, we just take our mushrooms and, sorry, got to get my little Ziploc bag. Take our mushrooms. You can use cremini, you can use button, any kind that you like. And we just break the stems off, okay? And then we're going to quarter them. And macerating basically just means that you are pulling the liquid off of an ingredient. So for instance, if these were strawberries and you put sugar on top of them, you would have a strawberry syrup after a short period of time. So here we're doing savory. So we're going to use some sea salt and a few other spices and some oil, okay? So we're going to, like I said, just quarter these, put them in a bag, and while we're making our sauce, it will be macerating. And you can do this overnight. You can do it like 30 minutes ahead of time. You know, it just depends on how saucy and soft you want the mushrooms and meaty you want them to be. So the longer they're macerated in the bag, the meatier they become in texture and flavor, actually. And that's just also depending on the spices that you use. Right. So we've got those all quartered. Put them in the bag, plastic bag. Okay. And we got our grapeseed oil here. And spices. So this is just some black pepper, sea salt, Celtic sea salt, and granulated garlic. And we're going to put our mushrooms in. Just going to kind of lightly massage them every now and again. Now, if you want, you can just do some Himalayan sea salt. And that's all. And you don't have to do any other spices. But if you got like you might have a favorite steak sauce that's vegan or something, and you like that flavor profile, and as long as it does have some salt in there, you can use that. Okay? And it really, it goes pretty quickly. All right? So we're going to do that and then just set it aside, right? And we're going to just prep some of our other ingredients as well. So here we have our zucchini noodles. And so I have spiralized mine. I have a what do you call it? Not a mixer, but gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but I'm trying not to say a name brand. But anyway, the thing you bake cakes with, there we go. And you make your batter. And so I have an attachment that I put on there, and it spiralizes the zucchini for me. If you don't have that, you don't have to go through all that. You can go to just about any store now and find some zucchini or squash noodles like this, if you will. So we're going to slice up some onions really thinly, julienne. And if you don't want and it's not going to be strong. It's a yellow onion here. But if you want a milder flavor, you can perhaps do some green onions or even shallots and slice them and put them in instead if you don't want to use a raw onion, because everything here basically is going to be raw today. So I'm going to take this. I'm just going to go with half of an onion. There's so much flavor in everything here today. And again, this is some of our spices. It is just granulated garlic, sea salt, and black pepper. All right. And so I'm just going to put this on here and get it going a little bit. And I'm even going to dress it with a little oil, just a little, and then massage this in. You want to try to draw a little moisture off of here so that you're not just eating the raw noodles. And we're going to layer the flavors in stages. So everything will kind of come out and be soft and delicious. All right. So I'm going to stop that right there. All right. And check on our mushrooms. It really happens fast, y'all. So the mushrooms are already turning darker and emitting their own liquid and juice off of there. So there. Next, we're going to add in or get our corn ready. And the corn has been roasted or steamed in its own jacket. Okay. Just gonna wipe this off a little bit. And what we do is we just take this. I had a 350-degree oven, and I just laid them on the oven rack for an hour until the timer went out, and that was it. So you can turn it up higher if you want to get some brown marks on your corn. Like you can turn it up to 400 and for the same amount of time. Or you could do 425 for maybe 45 minutes. And so it has a little browning here, but you probably can't see it from here. So, and the silk really pulls off nicely when you roast the corn like this, instead of you sitting there struggling trying to get the silk off. And this one has some color on it, so this will be nice to kind of show you all.
Chef Kim,
Mm-hmm.
we have a question.
Sure.
We have someone who has mushroom allergies and wants to know what's another vegetable they could substitute.
You can omit the mushrooms. There's a lot going on in this particular dish that you don't have to have the mushrooms in there. You might want to, I don't know if they can eat nuts. They can soak some nuts. They can use chickpeas. You don't have to use mushrooms if that's not what you want. A lot of times I'll substitute mushrooms for zucchini, but we have the zucchini here, so. And then you just take the corn and you just cut it off the cob like so. All right.
Can you use tofu instead of mushrooms?
You can if that's what you want. I personally, just in what I do for other people, meal prep and so on and so forth, we do no soy, no MSG, non-GMO, just TLC. That's our little, one of our little taglines, if you will. So But if you like tofu and you're okay with tofu, by all means, go right ahead.
I think there's a lot of flexibility in the menus we use and the recipes.
Yes, I mean, vegetables are our friends. So there's all kinds of things that are out there that really, if you go to one of the nicer grocery stores, you can find a lot of products that you wouldn't find in just a regular neighborhood grocery store. So, and then also Asian markets have a lot of things that aren't even in those grocery stores. So there's tons of fruit that we as Americans don't even consume on a regular basis because they aren't so readily available, but there's so much more out there than just our regular things that we're accustomed to consuming. All right, so we're gonna put our corn here in this bowl. Try not to make too much of a mess. Okay. I'm gonna just throw some over here on our noodles. Because this bowl is a little full. Okay. I'm gonna go back again and massage our mushrooms. Okay. Yeah, they're really breaking down nicely. So those are gonna be delicious. And I mean, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, they want some advice about the tofu. You can marinate that just about any kind of way that you like, and have different flavor profiles with that as well. I'm looking for a utensil that I have in my bag, so y'all excuse me one quick second. All right. So we got our potato peeler here. We're going to peel our carrot. And if you have some, you can go to the store and get anything pre-made pretty much. But you can get shredded carrots if you want. If you've got a shredder, you can shred them. However you want to do it. So I think today we're going to just do some ribbons and chop them up a little bit. Okay. All right. Just throw this in the trash. And the carrots really for a little sweetness and a little color. All right. So we're just gonna cut some ribbons. We actually could leave them like this, but I am gonna probably chop a little. And you just want enough to, you don't want to overpower the zucchini noodles because that's basically what we're featuring here today. So that's good. All right. And like I said, I'm just going to chop them. Just kind of a rough chop here and there. And toss them over on top of our pasta. Okay. All right. And I'm going to add in our spinach now. Okay. So our spinach can kind of be broken down, and I'm going to chop this up a little bit. Just enough. So you're getting all kinds of vitamins and minerals in this dish. You're getting your dark leafy greens in, and that's going to be good. If you don't want spinach, you can use something like kale if you don't mind kale being raw. You can also macerate the kale a little bit and massage it a little bit so that it's not so in your face. Okay. All right. And I'm just going to mix this again, put a little seasoning on here. And it doesn't take long for spinach to break down at all. So even this zucchini is starting to get very soft and tender, more so than it just was originally. So, all right, that's gonna be really delicious. All right, put that over there and see, look at it. It's already, really, it's good to go. Really good sauce. What we're gonna get started on now would be delicious to add to this. Okay, so put on some more gloves. And basically the sauce is very simple, very easy to make. It's literally just putting everything in your blender and going for it. So, right. So we've got our blender here, and I'm gonna put in the 4 Roma tomatoes. I might cut them just kind of really a little quick chop here. All right. And then we have our sun-dried tomatoes that have been soaking in hot water or warm water. Okay. All right. And so basically they're very soft, but they just get a little softer, you know? So, and I don't have this in a clear bowl today, but I'm gonna let this be the last thing I put in, just so that it can stay in here and get as soft as they can. Okay. And we're gonna add some herbs and spices. So I have basil, some fresh basil that I'm doing, and some fresh oregano. But if you want to use some rosemary, fresh thyme, I mean, you could just run the gamut of what you want to add in. So whatever you like. I would just say if you're using rosemary, you want to make sure you're using a high-powered blender, or you are using, you're kind of chopping it up a little bit first.
Chef, how long would you soak the tomatoes?
They're supposed to be soaked for 30 minutes. It's on the recipe.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So we're just gonna put our oregano in. Just kind of take some of the leaves off of the stems. It smells so good. And this is, it's been really hot here, so even if you don't want to turn the stove on, this is a great dish that you can make and not have to do that. We could eat some room temp or cold meals. That way we're getting all the enzymes, for our food being broken down when it is cooked. And a lot of the enzymes are cooked out of our meals, even when we're eating plant-based. So it's just nice to have some raw meals other than just fruit, like a mono meal that we can consume. So just kind of going with a half a cup of this. We're going to add a little bit more of our oregano, and we should be good to go. All right. It's television. So to this, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of shallots and some garlic, of course. We'll put our herbs in here. All right, and I've got 2 really big cloves. The recipe says 4, but you just kind of gauge it. And we're gonna do some tasting in between, so if that's not enough, we can certainly come in and add some more garlic. Or you can add just granulated garlic to it, to the fresh garlic. So we're just going to give this a rough chop. It's a pretty big shallot here. That doesn't want to behave. And then we will measure it and put it in our sauce. We'll have 2 tablespoons easy. And I'm probably going to just put all of this in here. Shallots are so mild, it won't be overpowering. All right. And it says salt and pepper to taste. I am going to, I'll put maybe a teaspoon in here. And then we'll go back and adjust it if need be. All right. Here we go. Well, I guess it would help if I put the sun-dried tomatoes in. So we're going to add our sun-dried tomatoes in here now. We're making salsa there for a minute, not marinara. All right.
Chef, is there a prescribed amount of time that you're going to be blending?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Is there a prescribed amount of time that you need to be blending?
Till it gets smooth.
Okay.
With the Vitamix, you blend until like 90 seconds.
Did you the sun-dried tomatoes? You soak those?
Okay. I soak them in warm water.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna get some salt and add to this. All right. Yes, I'm pretty much going from the recipe, and it just says to soak them for 30 minutes. So when you get ready to do this, that's kind of one of the first things you want to do. You want to just come in the kitchen and get your sun-dried tomatoes going.
No, that was a mistake on my part. I'm so accustomed to us using Roma tomatoes that I said Roma dried.
Well, we did use Romas and we used the sun-dried tomatoes. So it's a combination. I imagine you could probably make this with, it's going to be loud, y'all. You can make this with some canned tomatoes. Just adjusting the seasoning, sort of back and forth. I'm going to add a little more salt to it and make sure it's blended in really well. And if you feel like you want to add some acid to it, you can add a little lemon juice or some vinegar to it. I'm hurting everybody's ears for the time being. Stir this around. And if you want it thinner, you can go with a thinner, add some more water to it. So, okay. Clean up a little bit. We're going to get to plating in a bit. So we've got our bowl here. We're going to go ahead and add in our corn. Just kind of break it up a little bit. All right. And then we're going to add our mushrooms. Just going to take them right out of the bag in here. And we're going to lightly toss this together. It's been tossed together quite a bit, but I think this will be nice just to kind of add it in. And I'm going to use my hands. So I've got gloves on. All right. And I'm going to add the sauce in sort of on the top. And the person, whoever eats, they can just sort of mix it in themselves. And add a few more mushrooms on the side. Okay. And I'm going to take our spatula and just add a little bit of this to the top and let it just kind of fall over to the side. And then we can just take it with our fork and mix it in together. And on top of this, we're going to add some hemp seeds for more protein. And there you have it, everyone. This is our raw pasta and marinara sauce.
Chef, I'm with the studio guest. I wish we had smell-o-vision. Mm-hmm. It's a good-looking dish. Good-looking dish. Do we have any more questions? Well, since you cooked, this was just about verbatim from the recipe, so I think everybody understands, and they understand that they can substitute where they like.
You can put peppers in here, some bell peppers, red, yellow, and orange peppers, even some jalapenos or some serrano. You want a little kick, a little spice to it. There's tons of different ways you could go with this recipe. Even broccoli, if you wanted to add some broccoli to it.
All right. Well, thanks, Chef. So we got one last comment just came in. Oh, they just said thanks for sharing.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time. September 22nd is our scheduled date. We'll be here at 11 Central. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.